Hello, and welcome back to a beautiful episode of Pageants and Prosecco. I'm your host today. Brett Brooks is in the building. That's me. And of course, we have our Princess and the Frog inspiration for today's episode. Let's just dive right in. Okay, let's just get straight to it. We are live as of this recording. So, as always, I don't want to make this episode long, but I guarantee it probably will. It's Friday night. I have some cookies and cream ice cream waiting for me on the other side of this video. And I really want to make this video, one, because my makeup is done. Okay, my makeup is done. And I am working on doing a lot of things in 2025 I set my mind to, and eliminating a lot of things that I want to do but can't do right now because I want to do other things. So one of the things that I'm working on growing. So I'm working on growing things, and I'm working on eliminating things and putting it on a back burner until I become a millionaire. Then I can hire people to do it for me. One of those things I want to do as far as growing is to bring the podcast back. I know you guys have missed me. I know. Because I had 2 or 3 people, saying, how people, how influencers are like, everybody's been asking me how to do this. And it's like, girl, no one has asked you that. But I have had 2 or 3 people ask me, when am I bringing the podcast back? And when am I doing another episode? And I've been sporadic with the episodes lately, just because I've only been doing them when there's been like a major pageant happening, like you saw my Miss America and Miss Universe. But I want to get back to being more consistent. I was really good at that when I first started the podcast, and I need to get back into growing it. And then also there is a lot of people still on the Pageants and Prosecco website looking at old news articles. And that to me shows that there is a gap in this market of getting pageant news all in one place, because people are still tuning in from all over the world. Honestly, I have people from the Philippines, Canada, and Central America, as well as the United States, clicking on Pageants and Prosecco website. And that's because the Instagram is still, every once in a while, I still post on our Instagram page. So that drives traffic to the website. And then when they get to the website, they don't see any new episodes because I just have been lazy, lost in the sauce, doing whatever. And one of my reasons why I've been pulling back some is because I feel like when the episode started, it was, one person described it to me as controversial, which I do not like. Because when I started the podcast, it was under the basis of making sure we hold pageants accountable in the industry. And I was calling out things that was not right. And so it wasn't anything that wasn't known, but just no one was talking about it. A lot of contestants would post on their Instagram pages, post pageant, about what they went through during the pageant. And that wasn't really necessarily fair. Or ethical things that happened. If just go back to the early episode, you saw it. People called that very controversial to kind of talk about it. And so then I started wondering if this was hindering my ability to win a pageant, because it was brought up in one of my interviews for a pageant. They mentioned my podcast. And I was like, oh, you listen? And I forgot what the question was. I just remember being caught off guard because I didn't know that they were actually listening. And I was like, oh, maybe I should scale back because maybe they don't want something to happen. And then I was also concerned that people would be concerned that if I entered into their pageant system and it wasn't the best experience on my behalf, then I will later make an episode and calling them out, which isn't fair to any director if they see my name on a registration, that they think I'm going to just like put them on Front Street if I had a bad experience, which isn't true, because there's been some pageants I competed in that were really good. And I haven't said anything good or bad about it, just because it was just a regular experience. And it wasn't anything crazy that happened that I would make an episode about. But anyway, I think in the age of 2025 that we need to kind of bring back holding these pageants accountable. But what I want to do moving forward with this podcast is interview people like you who are listening. I want to interview judges, coaches, directors, title holders, contestants, some contestants, not all contestants. I want to make this platform an educational platform for pageant contestants moving forward. So if you are an expert in something related to pageantry, whether that's being a dance coach, an interview coach, a walking coach, a talent coach, a stylist, if you know somebody who you want to hear more information from, like right now, I have a business card from one of our favorite designers who I met at Market. I won't show too much, but this is it. Let me see. Let me see if you can see. That's it. That's all I'm going to show you. That's all I'm going to show you. And I'm reaching out to this person to hop onto this podcast, and hopefully they will be able to kind of kick off that series of talking to experts and people who are in this industry and embedded in this industry, like I have been, since 2009. So I really want to get back into making this an educational podcast, focus on helping those who are new to compete in a pageant successfully, and helping those who have been in the runner-up cycle maybe get the crown this year. And for those who just want to hear from your favorite people, unfiltered, with all the questions available, that's what this platform is going to be moving forward. And so if you also are really good at communications, if you are connected in the industry, if you have a title, and you want an internship, I am hiring. I'm hiring for someone to be an intern to help me with the PR aspect as far as reaching out to people who you think would be good guests on the podcast. And it is paid. It is a paid position. Not a lot, but there is room for growth. There is room for growth in the paycheck as the podcast grows. So the better job you do, the more you get paid ultimately. And it can also be for college credit as well. I have it so that way you can get college credit for this too. So if that's you, if you're interested in something light, fun, and enjoyable, and all things beauty, let me know. Let me know. And we can get that situated. It could be for a semester, it could be for a year. If you want to stay on longer, it'd be fun. Fully remote. I don't prefer you being anywhere particular in the country. Preferably someone who has a grasp of the English language and someone who also knows those key players in our industry. And you guys know who they are. The big name people. It's a lot of us. So it's no point in listing people off. But just email the podcast, pageantsandprosecco@gmail.com, or comment on this video, or send me a DM, the Brett Brooks, TheeBrett. I will actually write down options for you guys. But yeah, so let me know if that's you, and then we can get it together. Right. This is probably the best ways to connect with me. So if you're interested in a job working for the podcast, let me know. Like I said, oh my gosh, I just realized, can you guys even hear me? One, two, three. I just realized my microphone is not even attached. It does show that it's working though, so that's good. But let's get this microphone going. Holy cow. Sometimes I unplug my microphone at night because it has such a bright light attached to it. Okay. Let me switch back over. Oh, I can use my iPhone microphone? What? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm just not realizing microphone wasn't attached. This one. Okay, so like I said, this episode's not gonna be long. But if you're interested in a job, go ahead and find me one of those methods, preferably maybe through email. I check both. My Instagram DMs also work as well. So today I am sipping on a little bit of wine because it's Friday night, literally Friday night. And it's a cheap wine that I have. Can I show it to you? This is a cheap wine, less than $4. It's one of my favorite ones to get from Aldi's. If you're an Aldi's wine drinker, you know exactly which one I have. The Winking Owl. Okay, you can't. This bang for your buck, top notch wine right here. You know, there's so many different other varieties that they have there too. So if you are new to the world of the vino, to the grape, Winking Owl is a good place to start. It's not the best wine on the planet, obviously. I had a really good bottle of Cabernet the other day. Was it Hess? Hess, I believe so. I took a sip and I was like, it was complimentary. Um, so I ordered it because I usually couldn't afford it, and or I probably could. I think it's probably like $50 maybe for a glass, something crazy. Especially in a restaurant, it's probably just upcharge. And I was like, and I was like, oh, this is real wine. I've been so accustomed to this cheap stuff that when taste real wine, I'm like, the notes dance my palate. But anyway, and if you guys don't know, I also add a little bit of ice cubes in my stuff. My dad put me on to this little trick. He's actually downstairs. Put me on to adding ice cubes to kind of just soften it a little bit. I was so anti this. I still kind of look down on people who do this, but I understand, especially when it's hot. I don't really like white wine. I do love Chardonnay. I love Chardonnay only when I eat food that goes with Chardonnay, like the salmons and the popcorn. But any other time, I'm drinking red. And so sometimes I drink red and it's summer. So once I learned about adding ice cubes, I was like, okay, now I can drink red in the summer and not sweat. So just nice to have something to sip on, you know, um, just for a Friday night. Nothing crazy. Wouldn't necessarily drink with friends unless they're not a wine drinker. And I don't want them to my good stuff. Okay, now I know you're looking at me if you're watching this on YouTube and wondering why do I look like this? Because there's white spots over my face, and that's my makeup, and it does like a hot mess. I mean, it does, but that's because I was at a photo shoot, and it fit the occasion. I was doing a photo shoot for Black History Month, and this was my tribal like makeup. I had on this pretty red outfit, and the pictures will be posted on my Instagram at the Brett Brooks. Hopefully, it'll be in February. I won't post them anytime soon. Hopefully, I get them back soon because I do want to see them. But I was part of a Black History Month photo shoot, so thus I have more um, ethnic looking makeup on. And it's a little bit oily now. It's been on for a couple of hours, but trust me, those pictures ate, okay? Ate down. No crumbs left, still full, but always ready for dessert. Speaking of dessert, like I said, I do have ice cream waiting for me. So let's go ahead and get this episode going because I do want to make this short and sweet, and it's only been 15 minutes. Okay, so I took some notes here. This episode is dedicated to newbies in the industry because it is January And summertime is coming. And so, when it is summertime in the pageant world, we all know this is the time that January is the time people consider what pageants that they want to enter in for the summer. Now, if you're a professional pro, you should already have this in mind because if you're competing this summer, hopefully you already started working on your platform and knowing what pageant you want to enter and doing your research. I don't like giving myself less than 6 months to prepare for a pageant, but for those who are new, they might not know that. And so you do have plenty of time, quote unquote, to prepare for a pageant in July. However, you also don't have a lot of time to prepare for a pageant in July because it's going to pop up really, really fast. And if you have like a fitness or a talent, you need to put in work in the gym and into the studio or rehearsing right now, so that way you can perfect your talent on stage. So hopefully you already kind of, if you are seasoned, you are probably past this step in this video that I'm going to give. But if you're not and you're still kind of teetering and tottering of which system you're going to enter in this summer or this fall, this is the video for you. And let's just dive right into some of my tips and tricks and magic tricks to consider when trying to decide on a pageant that you want to enter into. Okay. So I took a couple of notes along with a little bit of help from artificial intelligence. And let's get it started. So these are some of the reasons, of some of the things to consider when looking for a system. Okay. First, you want to look at personal development. Now, what do I mean by personal development? According to the AI machine here, Catalina, they mentioned just building confidence, public speaking skills, poise, and stage presence, which is very generic, which is why I don't like AI all the time. But what this means to me when it comes to personal development and how this helps with your pageant choices is you want to look for a pageant. Whenever you look at a pageant, you want to look at who is currently the reigning title holder. I guess my eye is itching like crazy. This makeup, my eye itching. You want to look at who the current title holders are right now and what have they done since they've been crowned. So if they were crowned in July, they had all of the later half of last year to do appearances, work, photo shoots, community service, and volunteer. So you want and fashion shows or stuff like that. So you want to look at how much work they've done since they've been crowned. It's about 6 months, about 7 months. You want to see what have they done in 6 months because they still have 6 months. So you don't want to judge completely. But if you see that their page is kind of like inactive, maybe they gave out turkeys for Thanksgiving, maybe they gave out backpacks for back to school in August, and maybe they were in the Santa Claus parade in December, those three events, then it shows that they're not really doing too much because they should be more active on the official social media platforms. So if you see a pageant girl title holder and they have like a handful of posts and you can easily skip through months, maybe either that girl isn't as active or the director isn't helping her secure as many events as they could. Now, I do not want to put this on the director at all because as a director of a pageant, I understand I am walking into directing with the understanding that hopefully the girls take the crown and sash and do whatever they can do in a year, whatever that looks like. You know, if you want to make it to the White House in this year that you're reigning, you have 365 days to accomplish that using the title as leverage to get you into the White House. Now, me as a director, I can help connect you to them. I can find the PR person. I can help you arrange it, get you dates. Some directors might be able to help you finance that move, but it has to be up to you to make a decision if that's what you want to do. I don't think that any director should walk into directing and their competition under the guise that they're going to be the PR person for the title holder completely. And my views on this might have changed from being a contestant to being a director. But I feel like as a director, my job is to help find the best person for this title and to put on the best pageant I can and to give the girls the best prize package that I can and give them a good year. But you have to take the baton and run. And there's some girls who are natural go getters. Like you see contestants who are doing everything. I have a friend, and I'm sure she won't mind if I say her name. Her name is Serena Ritter. She is currently reigning. I think she is the current U International Mrs. title holder. I think she just won in September. When she had her state title and her local title, I think she was under Bolingbrook, and in state she won Mrs. Illinois. She made 105 appearances. She posted about this before it went to, she said she made the most appearances that she could. Now, do you think the director was booking all those appearances for her? No. She took that title and ran and did what she needed to do, ran in a good way, and did what she needed to do to leverage her platform, leverage her community service, leverage her business, Go Bling Yourself, to get herself and her brand out there. She's been walking in all these fashion shows. She's always on a plane. She was on a plane as a local title holder. So she's doing things outside of her area of Bolingbrook, where her title was just at. And she was really always traveling, doing something. The director isn't doing that for her. The director provided her the space and opportunity to compete for this title. Now, what you do with it is up to you. So, if you do see a girl who has a lot going on, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that the pageant supports their title holder in achieving all their goals. It's also a good sign because the girl is setting a precedent and setting a standard for what title holders should do moving forward. Now, if Serena is out here making 200 appearances in 365 days, and then you come into the interview room and they say, "What do you plan on doing?" And you just want to read to the local elementary school, you're not going to look as good as a contestant because the girl who is reigning is doing all these things and you're coming here and lowering the bar. So be realistic with what it is that you want to do and who it is you want to become as that title holder, right? Whether it's state, local, or national. Who do you want to become once the 365 days are up upon winning? Because we walk into every pageant competition knowing that we are going to win this competition, right? So, what goals do you have for winning? And this is any pageant. This is just you internally. Why do you want to do this? That could be a whole nother episode. But why do you want to compete in a pageant to begin with? And when you compete in this pageant, what do you plan on doing with it? Because you can't just compete and take pictures for the gram. You have to put in that work. You have to put in that work. Okay. So when you're looking at a pageant system to consider to compete in, you want to look at what the current title holder is up to. Now, you also want to look at what the current title holder is up to in regards to what you want to do with the title. Now, there are some pageants that, well, every pageant is different as in regards to what their winners do and what the purpose of the pageant is. What do you mean by that? I'll tell you. Thanks for asking. So, if your goal is to get like 1,000 community service hours, you're going to look for a pageant that is community service focused, one that is going to partner with local organizations or national organizations that allow you to be at turkey drives across the nation for Thanksgiving. Someone who really is focused on community service, like the Miss America pageant is. Someone who wants somebody who has a proven track record of volunteer hours. Maybe a lot of their past contestants have won the Presidential Medal of Honor, well, not the Freedom of Honor, but the Presidential Award for Community Service Hours. And if your goal is to just be in the nonprofit sector moving forward, You want to look for a pageant that's more community service focused because it will help you find your love for the community there. If your goal is to be a professional dancer, you want to look for a pageant that has talent, right? You want to look for a pageant that has talent that you can use that talent and compete in this pageant, and someone may see it, and someone may not see it, but you have a chance to maybe win the talent portion. And there's a lot of pageants with talent, and there's a lot of pageants without talent. So if you want to be a professional dancer or a choreographer or a theater nerd, you want to find a pageant that is going to cater to those interests, like Miss America, for instance. If you are a dancer, singer, artist, a musician, if you win your local and state pageant, you have a chance to perform on a national stage in front of a national audience, which was televised on TV. So if I was the best singer on the planet and Miss America was on ABC, guess what pageant I'm competing in? Guess what, I'm competing in Miss America. I have a chance to be singing on ABC, or you can do American Idol. You know what I'm saying? If that's still a thing. But if you have more of an artistic flow to you, find a pageant that is going to cater and has a category for you, because you can still win in Miss America. You can still win talent, and still get scholarship. So you don't have to even necessarily win and go to Miss America. I know a lot of people who paid off college just from competing at the local levels a lot and going to state a few times, and they got scholarship that way. So think about it like that. Like, what are your skill sets? If you want to become a model, there's pageants for you there. I'm actually competing in a pageant right now that's more model focused, and they advertise it as an opportunity to launch a modeling career. They don't have a talent portion in it, even though I do play a piano, but I don't want to be a professional pianist. I kind of do want to be a pianist, but it's not something I am just longing for. I want to launch a modeling career. So I'm looking for a pageant that's going to help me launch a modeling career. And so what I would look for is title holders who are walking in fashion weeks. How many opportunities have your current title holders have under your mission statement of launching a career? What does the current title holders modeling career look like so far? Is she walking in Fashion Week? Does she have the chance to walk in Fashion Week? Is the directors at these fashion weeks? Are they networking? How many followers do they have of people who are designers? Do they have connections to designers? Do they have connections to modeling agencies? Do they have connections to coaches to help train the title holders to build their portfolio? How many pictures are on the title holders page that could be good for her portfolio that she could send out to agencies at GoSees? Those are things to consider when looking for a pageant. So that's why it says personal development, because who do you want to be upon winning this title? What are your actual goals for even wanting to compete in a pageant to begin with? A lot of people might want to do it just to do it. If that's the case, run a marathon. If you have a true passion for the community, then you can compete in pageants. But there's so many opportunities because you might not even have to do a speaking role. If you want to compete in a bikini competition, you might not be making appearances at elementary schools. That's not somebody that caters to that audience. That's more of a Miss America title holder. You will have the opportunity to do Read Across America as Miss Chattanooga, America. If you win Miss Bikini, your target would be like, okay, how can I get into the Sports Illustrated? How can I apply for Sports Illustrated or Maxim magazine, or walking in Miami Swim Week or Bikini Swim Week in Dallas, or Las Vegas Swim Week in Vegas, you know, and then networking with other designers to walk in more fashion shows. That's the things that you need to consider when looking for your next competition. What is the current title holder doing? And what is this pageant geared for? Am I doing this to talk in front of people? Am I doing this to build my public speaking skills? Am I doing this for a modeling opportunity? Am I doing this for my talent? Or am I doing this just personally? If you are doing this personally, there's pageants for you too. It's just things to just consider. Okay, next. And I kind of mentioned this also, but networking opportunities. There are some organizations that, and some directors, I should say, that are way more um, intertwined into higher levels of the entertainment industry. And you might have the opportunity to walk on red carpets because the director is connected and can help you as their title holder get these opportunities. So just consider networking opportunities and who they know and how their network can help you grow your network. Okay. Sorry, that was a wine break. Okay. I think I kind of talked ahead of myself because a lot of this is things I kind of just said. Um, it also mentions scholarship and career benefits if you are in school. There's scholarship pageants if you are out of school. I don't think scholarship pageants pay for student loans. Just something to consider. So if you compete in the scholarship pageant and you're out of school, I don't know if that money goes to back pay. I think it goes to future pay. Someone comment below, let me know if that's right or not. But just consider that. If you're trying to get a scholarship to pay for school that you're currently in, there's pageants for that. And I keep saying, Miss America, they claim to be the largest provider, but there's other pageants that give out scholarships. And there's pageants that give out money, like actual money. For my pageant that I put on, I give out money. Um, and you can use it however you want to use it, whether they're going to school or not, you're getting paid. And that's your money. And there's some that says that it has to go to school. So just consider that. Let's see. Advocacy and giving back, platform development, encourage you to support a cause you're passionate about, helping others while raising awareness. This is a big one because there's a few pageants. When I competed for Miss Black USA, their mission was the American Heart Association, which we saw Miss America also take up for. Now, if you're someone and you don't know anything about the heart, about heart disease, about how heart disease is the number one killer of women, either you're going to either study that information or you're going to find a pageant that has a nonprofit or don't have a nonprofit that you're attached to. And there's so many, like there's so many. We know that Miss Universe does Smile Train to help people with cleft lips. Miss Earth has a green initiative attached to them. Um, there's some that has domestic violence awareness. There's some that donate to these organizations. So consider what platforms and advocacy work that they're doing already. I can just feel myself getting shinier and shinier by the second. But what advocacy does the national pageant advocate for and promote? And then also know your research and know your stuff when it comes to that platform. And if you don't believe in that cause, that's fine. No shame. Just don't compete in that pageant. Because you will be an ambassador for that cause. So if you don't believe in heart health, maybe this isn't the organization for you because that's who their national partners are. If you believe in the liver, find a pageant that allows you to choose your own platform that you could take on for the year. Okay, this is a big one. I'm gonna lump these. I'm gonna separate it. Financial investments. Okay, okay. We're talking about money here. The cost of competing. Consider entry fees, your wardrobe, traveling, coaching, other expenses. Understand how to prioritize spending to compete without financial strain. This is a big one. Okay. This is a big one because money is such a factor for all of us. And I'll have a whole nother episode about how to budget for this. But ultimately, you can't really fully budget for a pageant because especially that last 2 weeks, that last week, really like before you take off, you're spending money like it's crazy. You're just hemorrhaging dollars every which way. When I last competed last year, it was like all little things. I had to get a sewing kit, my nails done, I got new earrings, like I, tailoring, little things just kept popping up at the last minute. Gas, the hotel, like just a little, and those are like those were expected, but just like little things just kept popping up. So the entry fee is what you can control. I feel like I should take my makeup off because the red is like running. Anyway, the entry fee is one of the only things that you can truly control when it comes to like expenses. And what do I mean by that? Thanks for asking. You can ask a director how much does it cost to compete in this pageant, before you commit. They should give you that information before you put down an application fee or anything. Or ask them for an estimate cost if they don't want to drop the exact number. But ask for the exact number. Some pageants, it costs $100 to compete, and then you have your expenses. Some cost $600 to compete, and then you have expenses. Some cost $1,200 to compete, and then you have your expenses. And what does the expenses include? Virtually no pageants that I know include hotel. I think maybe one national one I think of includes hotel, but virtually no pageants include accommodations, travel. Okay, those are two things you need to consider. They'll have a discount on a room block, but you're still gonna probably pay one something a night for any hotel at any part of the country at this point. So consider how long is pageant week. Is it a weekend? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Do you need to consider getting there earlier so that way you can account for lag, travel lag, or whatever it's called, jet lag? That's what I do whenever I go to any pageant. I arrive the day before I need to arrive. So if they say registration is on Monday, I am flying in on Saturday. So that way I can spend Sunday relaxing before Monday. That's me. I do that for every pageant. I arrive super early so that way I can accommodate myself and just kind of just sit. I never arrive the day of. Like that's just the craziest thing. Never at the day of, never arrive the night before. I always arrive with a full day. So I budget in an extra day for hotel to just be at peace, and unpack and just mentally prepare to lock in. Okay. So you want to consider how much does it cost to compete in this pageant? And so ask for that information up front. And if a pageant does not give you that information up front, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag. And I think any ethical director will tell you this pageant is XYZ if they don't hand over the entire handbook of how to compete for the pageant. But all the information is to be upfront. So just consider how much it costs to compete. Some pageants don't include the crown and sash if you are getting a local title or a state title that you're being appointed and you're going straight to nationals. If you're getting a state title and going straight to nationals, you might have to pay for a crown and sash. And that might be optional or it might be recommended. So if you're going straight to nationals for some patent systems, the big ones, I know you have to get a local crown and sash. And that's the best way to start the advocacy work at the state level. Makes sense to me. Some of them give you the crown and sash upon paying for the registration fee, or they'll give it to you if you pay for 2/3. If you're on a payment plan and you pay for 2/3 of it, then you get your crown and sash. I know that the hard way because there's a lot of girls who you'll print out a sash for them. They verbally commit it. They might have even paid the application fee, and then they disappear. So now you have a sash with a very specific title on it, and either you can find another girl from this area or you're stuck with the sash. And I have two sashes that I know that I paid $200 for from from girls who did not compete in my pageant for one way or another. Nothing hard against them. But it's like some pageants aren't going to give you a local crown and sash until you pay a certain amount of money, if not all of it in full, and financially committed to competing in that pageant. So, like for instance, I'm competing in a pageant over the summer. They gave me the opportunity to have a local crown and sash. I haven't paid yet. So I haven't committed to competing in this pageant financially. And if I don't want to compete, I might find another one. But once I put money down, that's when the work begins. Once I started paying something, that's when my work begins. But for other girls, they put money down and they disappear and find another pageant system, and that money is not refundable. Just know that that's not refundable. So for any pageant, I doubt any pageant director is going to give you that money back. So before you financially commit, before you financially commit, consider how much does it cost to compete, just to compete. And that's the registration fees. Nothing else as far as wardrobe, traveling, hair, makeup. Don't include that. But some pageants charge you $1,000 just for registration. Some of them charge $100. Either way, you're still probably gonna come out of pocket about $2,000 to $3,000 to compete in the pageant. Just being realistic in 2025. If entry fee is $1,000, you might end up spending close to $2,000 just on other stuff. Like I doubt it's that high, but just randomly just budget another $1,000, like just because things happen. Maybe that's too much. I don't think I spent that much money honestly, but I competed for Miss Illinois USA. That was $1,200 to compete. It was $800 plus $400. It was $400 to register, 800 as entry fee, you know. And so 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, $1,200 just to compete. The hotel was $600 for the weekend, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was gonna leave out on Sunday. 600. And then my gown was cheap. I got a gown for $40. Got my gown for $40. I got it tailored. It cost $100 to tailor the gown. The shoes I had, makeup. I did my own makeup, but the makeup was $2,000 to use their makeup artist. 2,200 for their makeup artist for the whole weekend. Or I think they could in one day or another. I did my own makeup. Nails, just I think 40. I got a swimsuit. I think that one was 50 for the swimsuit. Coaching was 125. I had 5 sessions. Gas to get there, $40. I live close. I had my interview outfit already. I didn't buy that one. And I'm trying to think of anything else. I probably paid $100 for my hair because my friend did it. And then we had an opening number outfit. Maybe in total, I spent $40 for the top, and the skirt probably cost like $10. Maybe $20. No, I didn't spend that much on the skirt. That was for opening number outfit because it was outfit choice. And I'm trying to think of what else I spent. So yeah, we're probably looking at close to $2,000. If that's $1,200 plus all my expenses, probably from $200 to the other $1,000. I probably spent about $2,000 in total last year competing for that pageant. That's probably about right. And I think that's about average of how much I spend. So just know any pageant is a financial commitment. Also consider the time of year and travel. National American Miss historically always competes in Orlando in Thanksgiving. That sounds like the last place I want to be on the planet is in Orlando on Thanksgiving. But I can imagine those flights are probably something astronomical because a lot of families are probably trying to go to Disney World for Thanksgiving. That's such a cute idea. I mean, it's a cute idea. Uh, so just know that if it's the holiday season, that might be something that happens. Um, Miss Earth has their pageant in January. I think a lot of girls lately fly out maybe December 31st, maybe January 1st, January 2nd. So that's right after the holidays. So consider Christmas gifts. If you have to catch a flight to Orlando in January, either book it in advance or just know that Christmas gifts are going to be a little bit short this year because we're all flying to Orlando in a week after Christmas. Um, there are some pageants that happen over the summer. It usually costs more to fly over the summer, anywhere. A lot of pageants lately have been in Orlando. Like, just consider MCO, that airport. That's one crazy airport um, next to Atlanta, but it's just so busy. So just consider, do you want to go to Orlando in July with screaming kids on a plane? I don't know, maybe that won't stop you, but I give you a little pause for cause. Um, but and then Miss Earth has Orlando in January. Nice break from the weather. Ain't no telling. But a lot of pageants lately have been in Orlando. So just consider the fact that you gotta fly to Orlando. And I find that every time I fly to Florida, it's a little bit of turbulence. I just went there for my birthday last year, and it's every time I flew to Florida, I it's turbulence. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about. It's been a crazy flight every single time. Knock on wood, I do want to go back to Miami, so hopefully I have a nice smooth. And it's always on the landings. It's always on the landings when we're about to land that the flight just gets a little shaky. But it's whatever. I always land it, so that's the only thing that matters. But that's those it's things like that to consider. Um, Let me think of what else when it comes to finances. That's pretty much it. Just consider how much it costs just to register and get the crown and sash. And just consider some pageants don't. And the crown sash can be optional too. So if you pay, like for Miss Illinois USA, the crown and sash was optional. I didn't get mine. I still want mine. I'm gonna save money to get it. But just consider that, like, that was another $200. Pictures, another $200. You know what I'm saying, from the photographer. Things to consider. Okay. Competition stress is another one. Pageants can be mentally challenging, and rejection is part of the process. In a healthy competition, ensure you're prepared to compete with grace, regardless of the outcome. Oh, that's another thing. Let me see what's gonna be here. I'm gonna add this to the last one that has emotional fulfillment. Consider, and this is gonna be controversial. I don't like that word, but just consider who, what kind of person they've crowned in the past. Maybe not directly the last title holder, but it's something to consider for all my girls who look like me, or if you have anything that makes you unique in more ways than one. Um, if they're crowning people who look like you, okay? And like I said, that could be more ways than one. Are you going to be the first person of Alaskan descent with indigenous nationality to win? Have they crowned somebody black before? Because if they haven't and you're the first, there's nothing wrong with it. Just know that it'll just be a little bit harder. Um, how diverse have their judges panels been in the past? And you don't really have that information, but you can tell based off the winners how diverse that panel has been or not. Do they crown plus size women? That's something to seriously consider. Are you breaking a mold by trying to win this pageant? Because a lot of pageant directors do not like to break their mold at all. It's really hard. You have to be like extraordinary. And not saying you can't, just consider if all their title holders are a size 2 and you're not, do you have a realistic shot of winning? Now, you might want to just do it for the fun of it, and you might do it for the fun of it and actually win and become the very first person to do this. But do you want that challenge? That comes with its own set of hurdles because then you'll have comments of people saying whatever. Also, what has the national or international director said about people who do or don't look like you? Is there a leaked video saying, yeah, they can compete, but they can't win? Are you going to try to come in here and try to win when there's video that says, and I'm not saying anything about anything because I can't say much because I competed in a pageant with the international director said whatever it is that they chose to say about older women and people who weren't blonde. And I was like, and people who were married or had a kid. Are they crowning people who are married with kids? If that's you. Do you look like your past title holders? And I'm saying this as far as like realistically, are you up? Are you on their level? You know what I'm saying? Like you could look prettier. We're not talking about like facials at all. But if you see a whole bunch of people in one way and you're like here, this can be friction. Just like landing in Orlando. There might be some turbulence. So it might take a couple of years before you actually win. And you might age out by then. Just consider. Consider applying for a pageant that is crowning girls who look like you in more ways than one. And we're not talking about facial beauty. It could be your body size. It could be your skin color. It could be your nationality. For instance, Miss Petite USA is around. They cater to girls 5'7" and below. Now, if you're 5'8" and you compete for Miss Petite, I'm sure they will let you win. I mean, I'm sure they will let you in, but will they let you win? I'm sure they'll let you in, but will they let you win? Not just Petite. This is for any pageant. Why would you compete for Miss Petite when they only crown girls who are shorter than 5'7"? And they crown all body sizes. So if you are plus size and 5'8", this isn't the system for you. You know, they might let you in, but will they let you win? They might let you in, but will they let you win? They might let you in, but will they let you win? As a pageant director, trust me, I know. I probably would not turn down anyone because that's money to help my organization. You know, these pageants run off of our registration dollars. Hardly ever do they get sponsors to put on a pageant. They'll get sponsors for the prize package, which is something else to consider. But they might not get sponsors to actually put on the event. So everything is either out of their pocket or out of your pocket. So will they might let you in, but will they let you win? Something I learned the hard way. So those are the things you should consider upon registering and entering into your next pageant competition. If you have any questions, let me know. I wrote the book on pageant interview. It's called The Book of Beauty Pageant Interview Secrets from an Emmy Award winning journalist like myself. It's available on, oh, sorry, it's on my website, pageantsandprosecco.com. It's going to be on Amazon here soon, but it has pretty much everything you need to know about competing in pageant interview. How to craft your agenda, how to get your message nice and tailored, how to answer any question thrown at you, including the on-stage question, how to navigate interview, what colors to wear during interview, pretty much everything you need to know about how to succeed in your next competition, because we know that pageants are won during the interview. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I appreciate you guys a ton. My name is Brooks. I am gonna get a nice little IQ tag to say something. I want to say something like girly, pop, and fun. Maybe something like stay crowning. I don't know. But this year is going to be your crowning year. Your crowning glory is this year. I feel it. I feel that somebody out there is going to get their dream crown this year. So here's to making your crown dreams come true. Oh, I like that. Here's to making your crown dreams come true in 2025. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.